The planet Eos 9 had no air that welcomed breath. Its skies shimmered in thin ribbons of violet gas, and its ground trembled with the slow pulse of something ancient beneath. Every few minutes, a low hum rolled across the plain, like the planet itself was sighing. Dr. Marin Holt stood at the edge of the research outpost, her helmet visor catching the reflection of 3 dying suns. The message had come 2 weeks ago from the mining colony. Something alive under the crust. Massive. Moving. Possibly injured. Most of the colonists thought it was a geological anomaly, a seismic hiccup in a planet too unstable for proper mapping. But Holt had seen the recordings. The rhythmic patterns. The way the tremors responded to human sound, like breathing. Now, as her boots sank into the dark dust, she could feel the pulse again. It wasn't random. It was slow. Deliberate. Painful. Seismic reading stable? She asked into the calm. Stable, said her partner, Lieutenant Darren Voss, his voice crackling through static. Though if that's a heartbeat, it's the size of a mountain. She swallowed. Then we should hurry. They descended into the fissure that split the crust open like a wound. The light from their suits spread across the walls, veins of molten silver, shimmering like liquid mercury. Then the hum changed. It deepened, becoming a vibration that shuddered through their bones. Holt stopped. The dust lifted around them as if moved by breath. And there, beneath the translucent layer of crust, an eye opened. A single, enormous pupil, glowing faintly red, staring straight through the rock and into her. Holt froze. Every instinct told her to run, but the hum wasn't hostile. It was a plea. She raised a hand to the glassy surface. Her fingers trembled as the hum grew gentler, syncing with her heartbeat. Doctor? Voss whispered. She barely heard him. It's alive, she breathed. And it's hurting. The eye blinked once, slowly, and the hum stopped. For the first time in Eos 9's long silence, something ancient listened back. The descent chamber shook as the excavation rig drilled through the lower strata. Fragments of glassy rock rained down, glowing faintly before dimming to black. Holt braced herself against the railing, staring into the widening gap beneath her boots. The hum was stronger now, steady, rhythmic. It wasn't seismic noise anymore. It was a pulse. Voss swore under his breath. Whatever's down there, it's alive. But how the hell can something this big live under solid crust? No atmosphere, no ecosystem. Maybe it doesn't need one, Holt murmured. Maybe the planet is its body. He looked at her sharply through his visor. You're suggesting Eos 9 is a single organism? She didn't answer. The thought felt insane, but so did the heartbeat beneath her feet. Every vibration carried emotion, exhaustion, confusion, pain. As they broke through the final layer, the light from their suits spilled into a vast hollow chamber, too perfect to be natural. Its walls were ribbed with translucent, bone-like ridges. A thick mist drifted upward, pulsing with every beat. And in the center of it all was the creature. A colossal mass of sinew and crystal, half fused with the planet itself. Its skin shimmered between rock and flesh, threaded with glowing veins of molten silver. Parts of it were scarred, massive gashes, as if it had been struck by something cosmic. Holt felt her throat tighten. It's dying, she said softly. Her words echoed off the chamber walls. The creature stirred, just slightly. A low vibration rolled through the air, lifting dust from the floor. Then, through the static of her calm, came a strange interference, like a whisper. Hurt. She froze. Did you hear that? Voss turned his head. Hear what? The voice came again, faint but clear this time. Not from the calm from everywhere. You hear, me, small one. Holt's breath fogged her visor. She took a trembling step closer to the being, heart pounding in sync with its own. I hear you, she whispered. And the creature's enormous eye turned toward her again, pupil dilating, reflecting her tiny human form. The hum deepened, almost content. And then, like a sigh through stone, it spoke once more. Then help me, before the stars go dark. The chamber quaked gently, like a sleeper stirring in its dream. Dust cascaded from the ceiling in soft, silver plumes. Holt steadied herself, still staring up at that colossal, half-buried creature. Her rational mind screamed for data, readings, proof, but her instincts told her something more primal was happening. "Dr. Holt," Voss said, checking the seismic gauges. "Whatever this is, the magnetic field is spiking. We should fall back before." "Ship," Holt whispered, holding up a hand. The hum was changing again, rising, fracturing into dozens of smaller harmonics. It wasn't random. It was language, slow and guttural, vibrating through air and bone alike. Her translator chip flickered, trying to decode it, but the tones were ancient, mathematical, almost symphonic. Then, through the trembling metal of the floor, the words took shape. "Once we sang. Then silence. The wound endures." Holt knelt, gloved fingers brushing the faintly glowing surface. "You've been trapped here," she said softly. "Buried alive." A long pause. Then, "Not buried. Bound." The last word resonated so deeply it made her teeth ache. She looked back at Voss. "Bound by what?" Before the alien could answer, the floor shuddered violently. A pulse of light burst from a crack in the creature's chest, flaring up the rib-like walls. Instruments screamed with overload warnings. "Back! Back!" Voss shouted. But Holt didn't move. The light wasn't destructive, it was focused. It coalesced into shapes on the far wall, not random lines, but images. Stars. A map. And surrounding one star, a black sphere, pulsing faintly. A void. "That's not natural," Holt breathed. "That's an artificial collapse point." The creature's voice came again, weaker this time. "The Devourer left the mark. I held it, within, to protect the sky." Voss's eyes widened. "You're telling me this thing trapped a black hole? Inside itself?" The hum softened. "Yes. But it grows. It hungers." Holt's pulse quickened. "And if it gets out?" The chamber darkened. Every light, every instrument flickered and died. The being's final whisper rumbled through their bones. "Then all you call light will end." The silence that followed was so total, Holt could hear only her own heartbeat, echoing in rhythm with the dying world around her. The chamber's silence didn't last long. A faint vibration began at the soles of Holt's boots and climbed upward, whispering through her body like a pulse of static. Lights flickered back online in staggered bursts, faint blue glows trembling across the alien's crystalline veins. Voss steadied his scanner. "The energy field is still active," he said, his voice low. "But it's decaying fast. Whatever's inside that creature, it's unstable." Holt moved closer, her gloved fingers tracing the jagged edge of one of the gashes across the being's body. The wound wasn't flesh, it was space itself, folded open. Inside, darkness shimmered, dense and swirling, pulling the dust toward it. A gravitational leak. "God," she whispered. "It really is holding a singularity." The creature stirred again. "You understand," it said, voice like wind over iron. "The wound bleeds through me. I have kept it from your stars, but my strength wanes." Holt glanced up, heart hammering. "You've been here for how long?" Silence. Then, "Before your sons were born." She stared, stunned. "You mean you've been alive for billions of years?" Voss muttered. "You're talking to a living fossil of the universe." But the creature's voice grew faint, almost mournful. "I was the keeper of light. The warden of stars. The others are gone." "The others?" Holt asked. "The chorus that sang the galaxies into being. All fell silent. I remained, to contain what they could not." The words hit her like a weight. This wasn't just some dying alien. It was something ancient, something cosmic. Then the hum deepened again, painful and irregular. Cracks began to spread through the glowing veins in its body, light spilling from the fissures. Voss cursed. "Energy surge! This whole cavern's destabilizing!" Holt turned toward him, her mind racing. If it dies, the singularity goes free. Then we run. She shook her head violently. No. If we leave, the entire sector could collapse. We have to stabilize it. Voss stared at her like she was mad. Stabilize a black hole inside a living planet? Holt, that's suicide. She took a trembling breath, eyes fixed on the creature's glowing chest. Maybe. But if it trusted us enough to speak, maybe it knows how. The creature's great eye opened once more, faint light flickering in its depths. There is a way. But it will hurt. Holt nodded. Then tell me what to do. The being's voice filled the chamber like a dying song. Take my heart and teach it to beat again. The air inside the cavern thickened until every breath felt like dragging in molten glass. Dust rose in thin ribbons of light drawn toward the creature's wound, that swirling pocket of collapsed gravity. Holt could feel it even through her suit. Her body leaned unconsciously toward the pull. Doctor, back off. Voss shouted, planting a stabilizing anchor in the floor. His suit's servos whined against the gravitational strain. That's not air, it's the event field bleeding through. But Holt didn't move. The creature's words echoed in her skull like a melody she couldn't forget. Take my heart and teach it to beat again. How? She asked softly, her voice trembling against the roar of energy. How do I do that? The alien's massive eye dimmed, the glow around it flickering like a dying ember. When it spoke, the words seemed to come from everywhere at once, through stone, light, and her own heartbeat. You, sing. Holt blinked. Sing? The creature's ribs shuddered, expelling a deep, mournful hum. Not with voice. With pattern. Rhythm of being. You carry the light of a small star in every cell. Find it, and I will follow. Her breath caught. She remembered her Neuralink implants, the ones meant for biosympathetic medicine. They could sync biological frequencies between species during transplants. If she could tune it properly. Voss, she said quickly, I need a direct neural link to the field generator. You've lost your mind. That's a cosmic singularity, not a patient. Exactly, she snapped. And I'm the only one here who's ever synchronized a non-terrestrial biofield. Either I try, or this thing collapses and takes half the system with it. Voss hesitated, eyes wide behind his visor. Then, slowly, he nodded. You're insane. But fine. I'll monitor the link from the rig. Holt activated the interface. Blue filaments extended from her suit's gauntlets, reaching toward the creature's glowing veins. The moment they connected, pain lanced through her skull. Her vision blurred into light and movement and memory. For an instant, she wasn't standing in a cavern anymore. She was floating inside a star, seeing time itself fracture and rebuild in the creature's memory. Worlds formed and died. Light blossomed and faded. And through it all, the same hum echoed, steady, defiant. The heartbeat of creation. Then her mind snapped back to her body, and the alien gasped, a sound so vast it shook the planet's bones. Small one, it whispered. You, remember the song. Holt's voice shook. Then let's sing. The light between them grew brighter, and the planet began to breathe. The cavern's glow brightened until every edge blurred into white. The hum was no longer background, it was alive, surrounding Holt and echoing through her ribcage, synchronizing her heartbeat with the creature's. The Neuralink sensors in her suit screamed warnings, cardiac desynchronization, neural overload. She ignored them. Her pulse was the rhythm now. Dr. Holt! Voss's voice cracked through the static. Your vitals are collapsing. Break the link! She clenched her teeth. If I break it, the singularity breaks with it. Her eyes fluttered closed as she let her breathing slow, focusing on the rhythm, the rise and fall of cosmic breath, the vibration of ancient stone. Somewhere inside the creature's vast consciousness, she found the pattern. A heartbeat so immense and slow it could only belong to a being that had seen galaxies rise and fall. She matched it. One beat. Then another. The neural field around them shifted from violent to resonant. The gravity pull eased, the mist flowing instead of tearing. The creature exhaled, a deep, shuddering release that rattled the ground. "You remember the way," it said, its voice now almost gentle. "Your kind still carries the song of light." Holt managed a weak smile. "Maybe we never forgot. We just stopped listening." The creature's chest pulsed, veins glowing brighter, sealing fractures that moments ago had threatened to rupture. The gravitational wound began to close, the singularity dimming until it was a faint, swirling ember inside its chest. But the connection came with a cost. Holt's vision bled into colors that didn't exist. Her neural map distorted, showing shapes of thought too vast for a human mind. She saw worlds orbiting suns that weren't yet born, and for a fleeting second, she understood what the alien had meant by the chorus. Countless beings, each tied to a star, singing the universe into balance. And now, only one remained, this creature, buried and forgotten beneath Eos 9. Her knees buckled. "It's stabilizing," she gasped, half to herself, half to the cosmos. Voss's voice cracked through again, quieter now. "You're doing it, Holt. The gravitational index is dropping. The field's sealing." She forced herself upright, trembling. The alien's immense eye blinked once, soft red light dimming into a deep amber glow. "Small one," it whispered. "You bear the rhythm well." Holt smiled faintly through her exhaustion. "I'm a vet," she murmured. "I fix what's hurting." The creature's hum deepened, almost like laughter carried through stone. Then, suddenly, the entire cavern tilted. The light flickered, the hum faltered, and a shockwave rolled through the chamber. Voss shouted, "Seismic shift! Something else is moving down there!" Holt turned. From the fissure's edge, black mist began to pour, cold, sharp, alive. The creature's tone changed. "No! Not again!" And deep beneath the glowing ribs, something answered its call. The black mist poured like smoke underwater, slow, deliberate, and hungry. It moved against gravity, curling up the walls, spreading tendrils that left frost in their wake. Wherever it touched, the glowing veins of the creature dimmed. Voss's voice was shaking now. "What the hell is that? Radiation? Nanites?" Holt's sensors picked up no heat, no particles, no measurable mass, just absence. "It's anti-energy. A field inversion." She looked up the creature's wounds, where the mist was escaping. "It's the Singularity's bleed. The part it couldn't contain." The creature groaned, the sound low and desperate. "It remembers me. The hunger. The Devourer. The same thing that made this wound?" Holt asked. "Yes," it rumbled, the ground vibrating with its words. "It feeds on creation. I took it inside to silence it. But it learned. It makes itself many." The mist slithered closer to her boots. Her visor dimmed automatically against the spreading darkness, but she caught glimpses of shapes moving within it, limbs, eyes, faces that weren't faces. The smell was electric, like ozone before lightning. Voss cursed. "It's multiplying. Holt, we need to seal this chamber." "No," she snapped. "If we trap it here, it'll kill the keeper. He's the only thing holding it together." The alien's great eye dimmed to a dying ember. "Go, before it takes you too. It cannot be taught the song." Holt's pulse hammered. "You've held this thing for eons. You can do it again." "I am tired," it whispered. "But you, small light, you burn still." The black mist reached her leg. Her suit sensors spiked. Absolute temperature 0, molecular halt. The fabric frosted instantly, cracking under the strain. Pain shot up her calf like 1,000 needles. "Doctor!" Voss yelled. "Get back!" Holt raised her gauntlet and poured a surge of neural energy into the creature's wound. "No!" she hissed through her teeth. "You don't die yet. We finish this together." The light flared, white, searing, holy. The mist shrieked and recoiled, as if burned. For an instant, Holt saw it, something vast, a shape with too many limbs and no symmetry. Its presence was wrong, a hole in reality that devoured light as it looked back at her. And it whispered her name. Then it vanished back into the wound. The hum ceased. The cavern went still. Voss's breathing filled the calm. What just happened? Holt exhaled slowly. It recognized me. And somewhere deep inside the planet, the Devourer stirred again. The silence afterward was the kind that eats through nerves. Every sound, her breath, the faint whine of her suit, felt deafening against the quiet. The black mist had retreated, but Holt could feel it, lingering just beyond perception, waiting. The creature's voice broke through, softer now, trembling. It knows you, small one. That should not be. Holt steadied herself, one hand on her knee. Then it's sentient. It recognized something in my field's signature. Voss scoffed bitterly. Sentient? That thing's a hole in physics. It doesn't think. No, Holt said quietly. But it remembers. The creature's massive eye flickered open again, its iris dim and fractured. The Devourer learns through reflection. It sees what resists it, and becomes it. Her stomach dropped. You mean it's adapting? The cavern lights sputtered, each one briefly going black before reigniting. The hum returned, not the warm, resonant tone from before, but a low mimicry, jagged and discordant. The Devourer was singing back. Doctor, Voss said, his voice tense. It's copying your neural rhythm. Holt's gaze hardened. It's trying to take the pattern I used to stabilize the Keeper. It wants to undo the beat. The creature shuddered. You must finish the song before it learns the final verse. The words struck her like prophecy. Then we don't run. We finish it now. Voss grabbed her shoulder. Finish what? Holt, you're talking like this is a duet, not a rescue mission. She turned, her expression steady but haunted. Maybe it's both. She activated her neural interface again. This time, instead of a simple link, she pushed her consciousness deeper. The world dissolved into light. Time fractured into pulses of sound. She was inside the hum, an ocean of rhythm and void, with the creature's great heart beating somewhere far below. And opposite it, a presence unfolded, smooth, vast, cold. The Devourer's awareness stretched toward her, imitating her shape, her breath, her thoughts. A voice, hollow and infinite, echoed inside her skull. Small light, your pulse is warm. I want it. Holt gritted her teeth. You can't have it. Then I will take the one who holds it. It hissed. Your stars. Your kind. The being's vast consciousness rippled through her link, reaching toward the surface. Holt's monitor screamed. Her neural field was collapsing. Voss shouted something distant, but she couldn't hear. Inside the shared mindscape, the creature's massive form turned toward her. You cannot fight hunger with fear. You must drown it in song. I don't know the song, she cried. The Keeper's many eyes flared like dying suns. Then listen to your heart, small one. It remembers what the stars forgot. And through the roar of darkness, Holt began to hum. Holt's hum was barely audible at first, but it carried through the neural link like a thread of pure energy. It wasn't a melody she had learned, it was instinct, drawn from her own heartbeat, her own life force, and the memory of countless generations of humans who had survived impossible odds. The Keeper responded immediately. Its massive chest pulsed in time with her rhythm, veins of molten silver glowing brighter as the singularity within it stabilized further. Every flicker of light synchronized with her pulse, sending ripples across the cavern's walls. The Devourer stirred, sensing the pattern. Its tendrils of shadow twisted in hesitation, then advanced, probing like cold, grasping fingers. But the more Holt hummed, the more the Keeper's rhythm amplified, weaving a protective resonance around them both. Focus! The Keeper rumbled. Do not let the void reflect your fear. Let it hear your certainty. Holt inhaled deeply. She felt the full weight of the chamber, the mass of the alien, and the pull of the singularity. She didn't fight the fear, she let it flow through her, shaping it into a steady cadence. The Devourer recoiled, hissing as her pulse penetrated its void. Every note she hummed, every heartbeat she sent into the link, forced it to mimic, distort, and finally hesitate. Voss's voice echoed through the calm, shaky but awed. It's holding it back. The field is stabilizing. Holt's hum grew stronger, now harmonizing with the keeper's massive, resonant hum. Light burst from the veins, illuminating the jagged crystalline walls. The Devourer shrieked in discord, unable to process the pure resonance. Shadows writhed but could not advance. The keeper's massive eye focused on Holt, pupils narrowing in what felt like gratitude. Your kind remembers what creation sounds like. Continue until the void is filled with it. Every fiber of Holt's being vibrated with the song. The singularity pulsed brighter, more stable. The Devourer shrank back into the wound, writhing in pain, unable to unlearn what the human had taught it. Harmony, persistence, and the stubborn defiance of life. Then, with one final pulse, the chamber went silent. The black tendrils collapsed, retreating entirely. The keeper's chest shimmered like molten silver, the singularity reduced to a contained, stable ember. Voss whispered, awestruck. She actually did it. Holt sank to her knees, exhausted, trembling, but alive. The keeper lowered its massive head to her level. Its eye, warm and golden now, locked on her. Small one, it murmured. You have sung the stars awake again. The pulse of the planet beneath them slowed, calm and steady. The Devourer was trapped, silenced for now. And for the first time in eons, the chamber felt safe. The cavern was still. Even the subtle hum of the keeper had softened into a gentle, rhythmic pulse, like breathing after a long, exhausting run. Holt collapsed to her knees, chest heaving, suit sensors overheating from the strain of the neural link. Voss rushed forward, helping her up. You okay? He asked, voice tight with disbelief. You just stabilized the singularity inside a living alien. Holt could only shake her head weakly, her mind still tangled in the echo of the song. It wasn't me, it was all of us. The pulse, the rhythm, it came from the stars themselves. The keeper lowered its massive head, its glowing veins softening, almost protective. It seemed smaller now, calmer, but no less formidable. Its gaze rested on the pup-like creature that had been lurking near its claws, chirping quietly. You too, Holt murmured, reaching out a gloved hand to the pup. You're not alone anymore. The alien chirped and leapt onto her shoulder, curling around her neck like a living scarf. Its small heartbeat synced faintly with hers. The keeper gave a soft rumble, a sound that felt like both a sigh of relief and a laugh. Outside, the fissure leading to the surface remained unshaken, the skies of EOS 9 calm. The stars shone brighter than before, or maybe Holt's exhausted mind simply noticed them now. Either way, she could feel the difference. The planet, the creature, and the void within it had all found balance, if only for the moment. The keeper spoke softly, almost to itself. The chorus is incomplete, but light persists. And the small one remembers. Holt's lips curved in a tired smile. We'll remember together. Voss shook his head, still staring at the alien marvels around him. You know, no one's going to believe this when we get back. Let them try, Holt said, brushing dust from her suit. We know. The pup chirped again, nudging her cheek. She laughed softly, exhausted but alive. For the first time since stepping onto EOS 9, the hum that had filled her mind was no longer overwhelming. It was comforting, a lullaby from a world older than any human civilization. The keeper's massive form shifted, folding itself carefully into the depths of its chamber, veins dimming to a soft glow. Holt knew it would never leave its valley willingly, but she also knew it would endure. And she would carry its song with her always. Voss finally exhaled. So, what now? Holt glanced at the stars, the dying suns, and the horizon that stretched into violet skies. No, she said quietly. We go home. But we never forget what's out here, and what's waiting for the next small one brave enough to listen. The pup chirped once more, echoing the faint pulse of the keeper's chest. Holt touched its tiny head. Easy, buddy. We made it. And somewhere deep beneath EOS 9, the planet itself seemed to hum in agreement. Holt and Voss began their ascent through the fissure, every step careful as the cavern beneath them settled into calm. The once turbulent vibrations now moved like gentle waves, almost comforting underfoot. The pup, perched on Holt's shoulder, chirped softly with each step, its small eyes reflecting the ambient glow from the keeper's chamber below. The ascent was long. Every layer of rock they passed seemed to hum faintly with residual energy, as if the planet itself acknowledged the stabilization. Holt could feel the rhythm in her bones, her heartbeat now fully aligned with the pulse she had left behind. Voss broke the silence, voice hushed. "You really sang to a cosmic singularity, and it listened. You tamed it." Holt gave a tired smile. "Not me alone. It wanted to survive. I just helped it remember how to sing." The surface of Eos 9 came into view, bathed in the shifting light of 3 dying suns. Strange violet clouds streaked across the sky, and molten fissures glowed faintly in the distance. The planet, alive in ways few could comprehend, seemed serene now. The pup chirped, hopping from her shoulder to the ground, sniffing cautiously at the alien flora. Holt bent down, brushing a tiny hand over its fur. Its heartbeat, faint and quick, felt like a drumbeat of hope against the backdrop of the world. Voss glanced back toward the fissure. "Do you think it'll last? The keeper, the singularity?" Holt watched the horizon. The keeper's pulse, faint but steady, had been left undisturbed, its ancient rhythm now balanced. "It's survived eons. I think it'll last a little longer, thanks to us." A gust of wind carried fine violet dust across their suits. Holt inhaled, feeling the strange mixture of alien air and planetary energy settle into her lungs. She looked down at the pup, then at Voss. "We go back," she said softly. "But we carry the song with us." Voss nodded, still stunned by what they had witnessed. "I don't think anyone will ever believe it." "Then we'll just have to make them feel it," Holt replied, placing her hand on the pup's small head again. Above them, the 3 suns glimmered. For a moment, the sky seemed to pulse in time with their hearts. Proof that life, no matter how strange or alien, could endure, adapt, and sing again. And deep below, the keeper stirred, safe for now, its heartbeat entwined with the pulse of a small human who had dared to listen. The trek back to the research outpost was eerily quiet. Even the usual tremors of Eos 9 were subdued, as if the planet itself was exhaling after holding its breath for millennia. Holt adjusted her suit, feeling the residual hum still vibrating faintly through her bones, a gentle reminder of the bond she had forged. The pup scuttled beside her, tail flicking with a cautious energy. It stopped to look back at the fissure, as though acknowledging the giant creature lying deep beneath the crust. Holt knelt, placing a hand on the ground. The hum was faint but unmistakable, a soft thank you that resonated through her gloves. "Do you hear that?" she asked, voice barely above a whisper. Voss, trudging behind her, frowned. "Hear what?" "The planet, the keeper." "Gratitude," Holt said. "It's subtle, but it's there. It knows we saved it." The pup chirped, hopping up and brushing against her chest. Holt smiled faintly, adjusting her helmet visor. "We did what we could, little one. And now, you're safe too." As they emerged onto the plains, the light of the 3 suns bathed the landscape in shifting hues of violet and gold. Strange, bioluminescent flora swayed in the thin wind, casting dancing shadows that moved in rhythm with the faint pulse of the planet. Voss exhaled, scanning the horizon. "I still can't believe it. A living, singing planet, and some kind of cosmic singularity trapped inside a beast. And you harmonize with it." Holt gave a faint shrug. "I just listened. That's all we're ever asked to do with the universe. Listen, respond, survive." The pup chirped again and nuzzled her glove. Holt lowered herself to its level, studying the small alien's intelligent eyes. "You've seen a lot today, haven't you? I hope one day you'll sing too." Voss glanced around nervously. "Do you think anyone's going to find out what really happened down there?" Holt shook her head, the faint hum still resonating beneath her boots. "Some things aren't meant to be recorded in logs or charts. They're meant to be remembered, in heartbeat and in story." The pup climbed onto her shoulder again, chirping softly as the wind carried the quiet melody of the keeper's heartbeat from beneath the planet. Holt felt a shiver of awe, not fear, as the pulse intertwined with her own rhythm. For the first time since their arrival, Eos 9 felt alive in a way that was gentle, aware, and infinitely patient. Holt knew that what they had done was small in scale but immense in consequence. The stars had survived another night. And the keeper had someone to remember them by. Section 13. Echoes across the stars. The ascent back to the outpost felt almost ceremonial. Every step Holt took was accompanied by the faint hum of the keeper beneath her, a rhythm that seemed to echo across the planet's surface. The pup chirped in sync with her heartbeat, a tiny beacon of life amidst the alien wilderness. Voss lagged slightly behind, still shaken but more composed. "You know, this is going to sound crazy, but I feel lighter," he admitted. "Like the weight of the planet's pulse is gone, or at least manageable." Holt nodded, letting her gaze sweep across the strange horizon. "It's not gone. It's just balanced now. The keeper stabilized the Singularity with our help, but Eos 9 will always hum. We just learned to listen." The pup leapt down and scuttled ahead, sniffing at the glowing flora. Holt laughed softly, the sound carrying faintly in her calm. "You like this place, don't you? Even after all the chaos?" It chirped happily, tail flicking in amusement. Above them, the three suns began to dip toward the horizon, casting long shadows over jagged terrain. Holt felt a twinge of worry. The cosmic balance they had restored was fragile, and the Devourer's whispers still lingered in the farthest reaches of the neural link. She took a deep breath. "We've given it a chance. That's all any of us can do, human or keeper. We can't control everything." Voss exhaled, nodding slowly. "Yeah, but we can survive it. Together." Holt glanced down at the pup, and then at the distant glow of the fissure where the keeper lay. "We've survived it once. Maybe now, we can tell the story, without breaking the rhythm we found." As they approached the outpost, the faint pulse of the keeper and the planet intertwined with Holt's own heartbeat, a quiet reminder that life, no matter how alien or immense, could endure if someone cared enough to listen. Somewhere in the distance, the faint shimmer of the Singularity pulsed like a small ember, contained, alive, and waiting. Holt knew that the universe had more lessons for them yet, but for now, the stars were quiet, the song held, and the keeper rested. The pup chirped again, nudging her glove. Holt smiled softly. "Easy, buddy. We've got a lot of stories to share now." By the time Holt and Voss reached the outpost, Eos 9's skies had deepened into a calm, violet twilight. The three suns hung low, their dying light reflected in the shimmering dust of the plains. The air felt lighter now, carrying a subtle vibration, almost like a heartbeat in the silence. A reminder that the keeper and the planet were still alive, still singing. Holt knelt, setting the pup gently on the ground. It chirped, tail flicking, looking back toward the fissure where the massive creature rested. Holt could feel the faint pulse from deep below, echoing softly through her gloves, through the ground, and into her own heartbeat. The cosmic Singularity inside the keeper was stable, its hunger contained, its darkness quieted. Voss approached, finally letting out the breath he had been holding. We did it," he said, awe and disbelief mixing in his voice. "I mean, we really did it." Holt nodded, her gaze drifting upward to the stars. "We didn't do it alone. The keeper taught us the song, and we just followed it. That's the thing about life, even on alien worlds. It teaches you how to endure, if you listen." The pup chirped again and nudged her hand, a small but vibrant pulse of life that seemed to resonate with the planet itself. Holt smiled, letting her hand rest gently on its tiny head. "Easy, buddy. You're part of the song too now." Voss glanced back toward the fissure. "Do you think it'll be okay? The keeper, the Singularity?" Holt's eyes softened, reflecting the faint glow of the planet's rhythm. "It has endured billions of years. With a little help, it will endure a few more. And maybe one day, the next small one who listens will carry the song forward." The pup chirped again, and Holt felt a smile tug at her exhausted lips. Somewhere deep below, the keeper stirred, its massive body folding safely into the chamber. The pulse of EOS 9 beat steadily now, a rhythm of patience, resilience, and hope. Holt stood, brushing dust from her suit. She glanced at Voss, the pup, and the horizon bathed in dying sunlight. Let's go home. But we'll never forget this planet, or the song we shared. As they stepped toward the shuttle, the faint vibration beneath their feet carried through the ground, a steady, unwavering pulse. The universe was vast, dangerous, and dark, but for now, the stars were alive. And the Keeper's song, once almost forgotten, would echo quietly in every heartbeat that had dared to listen.